Thank you for tuning in to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I am your host. This week's episode is with Jake McDowell. He's a good friend of mine, a combat veteran, comedian, and do not forget, a licensed massage therapist. We talked about a lot of different stuff, as we like to do on this podcast, but we mainly focused on authenticity, being your true self, addiction, PTSD, people being in relationships as a part of their identity and why we think that's not healthy, our love for stand-up comedy, imposter syndrome, survivor's guilt, and just doing what makes you happy. Jake McDowell was a great guest, and he got to join me in my living room, which I haven't recorded an episode like that maybe ever. At least in the way we did it, which is awesome. So I hope you enjoy this episode with my buddy, Jake McDowell. Thanks for being here, man.
You're welcome.
You get
Thanks
to
for
be
having
the
me.
first guy on the couch episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't. If I've done it on the couch, it's been like a couple years because I've been just recording them at the studio. Just because Underground Economy, great place, but
I didn't know you had a studio.
there's a place. Underground Economy is downtown Davenport. It's in the RME building. It's not called the RME anymore. It's called something else. They changed the name.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's a cool little setup, but I always have to pay to do that. This is free, so
This is much better. Free is better than paying.
yeah, free is definitely better.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit, and I know there's one thing in particular you wanted to talk about, which I think is very important, and we'll start by just doing, I like to have everybody do like a little brief intro, you know, your name, where you're from, your social security number, all that good stuff.
Okay.
But we'll start there. But yeah, if you want to, this is Jake McDowell, and he's going to give you a brief intro.
Yeah. So my name is Jake McDowell. I am a combat vet. More recently, I have transitioned into the role of licensed massage therapist. So that's my job. I help people to try to live their best lives, you know, in whatever role they're living in, whether that's an athlete or sports or just trying to, you know, just live their day as comfortably as possible. And that kind of stems from a desire. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a psychologist because I wanted to help people that way.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I wasn't very good at going to school full time. And so
Yeah.
I quit that. And now,
totally
I
get
just, I thought that massage therapy, so basically real quick, when I got clean, I started to like try to fill the void of not doing drugs anymore. I got into the gym scene, and so I would be sore all the time. And I found this massage therapist who's amazing, and I love her. And then I found out that like I could do the same thing, and so that's how that happened.
How much school do you got to go through to earn hours and all that stuff to get your license for that?
Sure. So you do a total of 650 hours, and that's 650 between like classroom and then like technique work and clinic work. So it's, I think, I don't know the exact breakdown, but it's like 130 hours of clinic and just like clinic hours, even if you're not in with a client, you still have to have like 50 hours of just being in the place,
Yeah.
So
Observing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's about a year long.
Because you've had a variety of jobs between that, before that. So what made you make the jump and be like, this is finally what I want to do? This is it.
Well, it's funny. We were talking about that like before we started this, but like I, I believe that you should do whatever you think is the best thing for you to exist in your authentic self. So I've always wanted to help people. And I think that was because as a kid, my parents kind of fucked me up to this idea that I wasn't good enough, And so I always like wanted to prove them wrong. You know what I mean? And so as a kid, my dad loved sports, so I did sports, and I was really good at baseball, and I was decent at football and basketball, but it was something that we were able to like
bond over.
Bond is good. I was going to say commiserate, which is not the right word, but yeah. So we were able to bond over that because he liked sports, and my mom was very big into academics, and I'm a smart dude, but I was horrible at actually doing schooling. So there was a big rift for us, most of my life. But the funny thing is that until her passing, she was a massage therapist, and she actually created a lot of like techniques and protocols for different ailments that people go through. And some of those things I still do in my own practice today. So it's cool because I get to kind of live vicariously through her since her passing.
And when did she pass?
She passed in 2011. She was 51 years old.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, breast cancer. Which she fought for a long time, but it just, obviously cancer is real insidious, and it's just like, it's hard to do. But yeah, so nowadays, that's kind of, I'm kind of able to like live through her that way.
That's cool. Fulfill her prophecy.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool. And how long did she do that for? Was that her main career, or did she have...
So in Russia, they don't call them massage therapists; they're like occupational therapists. But when she was 21, she graduated from that school in Russia.
Oh, I didn't realize your mom grew up in Russia.
Yeah, well, so it was the former USSR, and she moved. God, when did she move? It was like 81. So I guess actually it was a little bit before. She was like 19 probably when she graduated. And then she immigrated to the United States in 81, I want to say. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she did. So she did kind of what we consider nowadays is like Russian medical massage. So instead of like, there's like the relaxation side of massage, and then there's like the therapeutic, like treating illnesses. And so that's what she did. So yeah, she, it was like, I don't know, probably 26 or 27 years that she did it.
That's a long time.
It is. But she was the best. I mean, like, so, she didn't see a lot of clients. She basically taught her techniques to other massage therapists, and that's how she made her money. That's how she supported us.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, it is super cool. And it's really cool. Every once in a while, I'll see somebody and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, your mom changed my life. She did this and this, and like I was cured." And no doctors or anybody else were ever able to like fix me before that. So
that's really cool.
It is.
That's super inspiring. Also,
yeah, it's really funny. We were both very like strong personalities, and so
butt heads a lot, or
all the time, man. And especially, as a kid, you're a shithead, and like So yeah, it was, we did, but now, luckily, as an adult, I can see that, even if she didn't do things maybe the way that I think she should have done them, like she was doing the best she could.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. I've talked to, I've been in therapy, and obviously they always bring up your childhood, and that's a big part of it. And it's like, were my parents perfect? No, but they did the best they could, for sure. I'd argue better than a lot of people's parents that I've met. I mean, I'm biased though, of course.
Well,
yeah.
But that's really good of you to think of, because, a lot of people are like, oh, they just, they get stuck in tunnel mode,
I look at it, I look at it glass half full for sure, because I'm like, hey, first of all, one, I had both of my parents.
Yeah.
Big one. I know so many people that don't. That didn't grow up with two parents, or grow up with a single father or a single mom.
Were your parents still together?
They're still together.
They're still together. Oh, okay. That's awesome.
Which is also rare.
Very rare. Yeah.
Yeah. Divorce rates just continue to get higher.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I look back on that, and at the end of the day, it's like, ooh, I was very lucky. And
yeah,
I don't take that. I try not to take that for granted either.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I mean, it's a lot of things that a lot of people take for granted, right?
Yeah. I did for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially when I was using.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, I mean, people listening may not know this, but, I'm also, not quite in the same boat, but, I've also like seen my fair share of using, and I was in the recovery community for a while.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it is PTSD from the military and being in Afghanistan. But while I'm not exactly where I want to be right now, I'm happy to say that I haven't done heroin, which is my drug of choice, in almost 7 years. So,
which is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I think, a lot of times we get down on ourselves, especially I think addicts are very like in tune to their potential, and I think that's why a lot of us use is because we think that we're not going to get there, and then we get frustrated, right?
Yep.
And so yeah, I mean,
hold ourselves to like this ridiculous standard.
Ridiculous, yeah, no, exactly. And and that's part of what's going on with me today is that like I took drinking back up, and do the occasional other drug or whatever, and I've never done heroin or anything else in that same vein, but I think, oh man, why can't I be perfect, and that's it's just not realistic. But I am happy to say though that I have not done heroin or opiates in almost 7 years.
So did you? I know some people with when it comes to heroin addiction or opioid addiction in general, they were prescribed something, and then they ran out, and they're like, oh well, this is accessible. Or did you just straight?
No. That was exactly my story.
Cut out the middleman. Just went.
So right before I got discharged from the military, I was in this bar fight, and I got sucker punched and got my nose broken. And I'd already in the military within like my first year of being in the Navy. I'd gone to this program called SARP. I think that's what it was called. It was Substance Abuse Rehabilitation Program. And so when I got my nose broken, it was obviously like not in my duties as a sailor, and I didn't want there to be a record of me being in a place where I'd been drinking, and my roommate at the time, she was a hardcore like very like mom, like no, like you don't have a say in this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. She was a few years younger than me, but she's like, you're going to go to the hospital because your nose is broken.
Yeah.
And so I did, and I just thought, well, hopefully it doesn't get back to the command. And I got a prescription for 30 Vicodin with one refill. Sorry. And so I had 60 Vicodins for,
For a
and
nose.
it's funny to look at it now because you're like, that's way too much. Like
They used to do that all the time.
yeah, they could have given me like 4 or 5 to get through that first day or 2.
That's all you really actually needed.
Yeah, but yeah, back then they just threw prescriptions at you. You know? And so I took them and I was like, oh shit, this is tight. Like I enjoy this. And then the funny thing is I was like a really bad alcoholic in the Navy, and then when I took those, I didn't want to drink it all. And I was like, oh shit, this is the cure to my alcoholism, right?
Oh yeah. Replacement.
And so, and then, like 3 weeks after that, I like literally just ran out of the supply I had, and I rolled my ankle, and I just went to the doctor on base to like, so that I could get like a piece of paper saying, like limited duty. So I wouldn't have to do like extra like hard work, lifting big boxes or anything like that. And then it was the same thing. They gave me 30 Vicodin with a refill. And shortly after that, I got out and I came home, and everybody, like, I went back to the same job I was doing before I was in the military.
Which was?
I was a server at Village Inn.
Okay, yeah.
And there was a bunch of people that were all doing pills, and they're like, yeah, like, come get some of these pills. And I was like, all right. And the funny, you asked me, like, did I go straight to heroin or, I actually was on pills for like, I did pills for like 5, no, not 5. I did pills for like 3 or 4 years before I ever touched heroin,
Yeah.
And it was, finally, I was just like, all right, I can't, I was doing like, $100 or plus a day of pills, and I was like, this is just not sustainable.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready to quit, so yep. And then as soon as I touched heroin, dude, it was over real quick. It was just not like, dude, I fell so fast. I mean, I literally went from like doing $120 a day of oxy or so to doing like $40 of heroin, and just like that was it.
And it was so it was cheaper, obviously, and more bang for your buck, for lack of a better way to say it.
Yeah, cheaper, more bang for your buck, and also the highs and lows were so much more. Like I would literally like, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it except that I just couldn't quit, man. Like I would, I would take whatever pills I was on and I'd be good for the day. But like, it's literally that phrase, chasing the dragon. That was me, man. I just like, there wasn't enough, and I couldn't work enough or make enough money to sustain that kind of lifestyle. So
You're obviously not functioning very well while you're doing that all the time.
No, I literally, when I started,
like serving, you're moving around a lot.
Yeah, that didn't bother me at all, but it was just like, imagine if like you only make $30 and like, you have to still try to eat.
Slow
and
night.
Also like, dude, it fucks your whole world up. So when I started, I'm not going to say it on the air, but when I started doing like the kind of ultimate way to do heroin, it was like 3 months before I just spiraled out of control. And I had just moved into a new apartment with my girlfriend at the time, who had no idea that I was doing it.
Oh boy.
And it was bad. I, like the first month came where I didn't have the rent money, and, I don't know, I made up some excuse, of course, and then the second month came and she was like, what's going on? And,
you told her?
Yeah, I just kind of broke down, man, because I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
I knew that
you're at the point where you're like, this is awful, like you don't want to do it, but you're like, we didn't know how to stop either. Exactly.
And the thing is that I knew that one way or another, I was not going to be allowed to live there anymore. Like she was, poor girl, and bless her heart, she was the like general manager of a Pizza Hut, which it's not a glamorous job. She wasn't making a lot of money, you know.
Yeah, so
like
she
you're
needed,
general manager, and you're like,
your
oh,
help
yeah,
there with the rent there.
yeah, she needed that, and so, and again, bless her heart, she tried. Like, so I told her, and she was like, "You have to get out of here," and so I went back to my dad's house, and I started. I called a friend of ours that you know, who I'm not going to name on camera, but he took me down to Peoria. They had a bed for me to detox in, and that was the worst week of my entire fucking life, dude. And
that's one reason people stay out, because they're scared of the
dude, it's
detox,
horrible, dude. And the thing is I wish that there were, you know, it'd be a lot easier if you had. So a lot of people, you know, they will talk about drugs and be like, well, they have to go through the worst so that way they don't do it again. That doesn't keep people from doing it. I think if you let people down gently, then they realize, hey, I'm a person. I deserve medical treatment. I deserve to, like, you know, I've made a mistake, obviously, but I deserve to be treated well. And then they're more likely to quit. But if you just say, well, if I quit, they're just going to, like, throw me on a 1-inch bed and, like, tell me to suck it up. Like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm just going to keep doing what I fucking know how to do. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to rehab. I got clean for about 9 months or so. And then I relapsed, and I was clean for about 6 months. And then I relapsed, and then my roommate passed away after I told him that I had relapsed. And that crushed me, you know. And
not your girlfriend. This is a different person.
Not my girlfriend. No, it was a roommate of mine who I'd met in a halfway house. I had relapsed, and I
also an addict then.
Yep, heroin addict, just like me. And I told him, like, hey man, I relapsed. You know, like you do what you have to do. I understand. He's like, no, you can stay in the house. Like, you know, it's fine. And then he went home.
He was clean at the time.
He was clean. Well, kind of. He didn't do. He quit doing hard drugs, but he still kept drinking. Like, he would go home on the weekends and, like, get drunk with his buddies, you know?
Gotcha.
And then he would come home. He had a good job at Purina. And then I think, I'll be honest, like, I took that shit to heart. I felt like I killed my best friend for a while because I told him that I had relapsed, and then the next weekend he was dead. And, yeah, it was hard, man.
Was it it
was an overdose.
Overdose? Like fentanyl or just overdose?
No, just heroin. I think, you know, he had, like I said, he had been drinking, but he hadn't done
done it in a while.
Almost a year. And I think he just, you know,
went back to his.
You know, I think we're smarter than, like, people always say, like, oh yeah, you go back to your original. And I don't think he did that, but I still think he underestimated how it was going to affect him. It was. And the funny, that's the
not
wrong
funny,
word. It's not funny. He was at home, and I remember I talked to his mom, and she was like, yeah, I was talking to him, and he wanted me to itch his back, which is a common, like, thing with heroin. You get itchy when you're on opiates, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And she said she woke up in the morning, and he was dead. He was gone, you know? And
Jeez.
So, yeah, man.
How old was he?
27.
That's stupid.
The 27 club, man.
The worst age.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, ever since then, man, I've just, you know, I've just tried to be, you know, who I who I think I should have been from the beginning, you know, and a lot of my problems was just trying to fit in, you know.
Oh yeah, I know how that is.
And you know, when you're in addiction, right, you get close to those people real quick because you rely on them to survive, right?
Yeah.
And so, but it's not true friendship, you know. And so I've struggled, like, you know, becoming that person since I got clean, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long until well, after your friend passing, it was probably hard to, because you had just relapsed. So how long until after that where you're like, I'm done, this is it?
So, oh, that's a great question. Yeah, oh man, that is a great question. I did, so I relapsed one more time. I was trying to do all the math. So, I relapsed in August of 2015 for about a month. And then I told him in about the end of September, and then in the beginning of October, he was dead. And then March of 2016, I relapsed for a week. I was up for a week straight doing heroin, which is really crazy because it makes you tired. You know, like I know, yeah. But for people like us,
you weren't doing meth?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But for people like us, it kind of gives you energy, you know. And so if you just, you know, like obviously I slept, but you know, I was pretty much up for a week straight.
Yeah.
And I had,
you had your naps.
I had a new roommate, and I came clean to her, and she's like, you know,
Is that the roommate I know, or is this?
No, her name's Katie. She is
Katie.
She is a classically trained French chef, and she lives in Chicago suburbs with her husband and her kid now. But she's like, look, you know, I need to make sure that I can trust you. So if it happens again, I've got to leave. And yeah, I've been clean since then. Clean off heroin, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
I know some people, they're very particular about the word, but you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of that main, I feel like everybody, there's some people that are like, you know, that are more like your, I've heard it phrased like, I was just a walking dumpster addict. Like I would do anything. Like there wasn't really a drug of choice. It was like my drug of choice was whatever you got, you know. Yeah. I've met people like that.
That's not me.
Yeah. And
like I never did meth, which I mean that's just one thing. But I mean, like, you know, when people say that, like I do everything. If somebody gave me meth, I'm not gonna fucking do that, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, not that I'm better than anyone. Obviously, I know you know that's not what I'm saying. But yeah, I was not like a, you know. Well, and you know, in the rooms, you know, they're like, my drug of choice was more. No, my drug of choice was heroin, dude. I fucking,
yeah. Like, that was it.
That's what I wanted to do, you know?
Yeah.
Anything else I did was just to stave off the idea that I had to be myself, you know?
Yeah. Try to fix yourself, whatever, you know?
Right. Yeah. So
fitting in or do it. Feeling like you're in a certain group of people and like, oh, they're all doing it, so I'll do it too. You know, I don't want to be that guy. No.
I was a very like loner addict, dude. Like I didn't really, like, I didn't hang out with I didn't trust a lot of people, you know. Like I'd been burned a few times, so it was like
I've heard that's pretty common with heroin though. Like heroin's not really like a group activity most of the time. Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it is something, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I tried to stay away from like buying it for people because I was like, if I have it, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know. And now I'm gonna get beat up or you know, like whatever, you know. So. And
now out there, you gotta worry if it's even heroin. So it's scary,
dude. Yeah, no, fentanyl was just like, well, we had fentanyl when I was still using, but it was very few and far between, you know. It was like
everywhere.
It was a cutting agent that, you know, people would occasionally use, you know. And now it's just people aren't doing heroin anymore. It's just fentanyl, you know. Yeah. So, anyways, glad to be done with that shit.
Oh yeah. It's a gamble now.
It
was a gamble. It was a gamble anyway, but now it's really like
it's super dangerous. You know?
Super dangerous.
Yeah.
So. You also wanted to talk about, and I think it's a good topic and I've been thinking about that a lot just with my life. You know, on this self-growth journey, for lack of a better
that's
word.
kind of what this podcast is about.
That's
right?
what it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, is becoming a better person, being the best version of yourself. And that's what we were talking about earlier, is just being your authentic self and being able to be your authentic self. And that's tough to do sometimes because you want people to like you. I mean, we're both like that.
Absolutely.
We want everyone. If somebody doesn't like you, you want to know why, and you want to know like what you can do to fix it. And getting out of that is so hard. And just realizing that you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. You're not everyone's going to like you, and some people may not like you because they don't like themselves. That's something also I've learned. Like, I don't know what they're dealing with. Like, I try not to take things as personal as I used to, because everybody's dealing with their own stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I think So I have a buddy, we were talking about him earlier, but okay, so basically like you were saying, like if somebody doesn't like me, why don't they like me, and what can I do to fix it? And that's, in my opinion, just the wrong thing to do, like if somebody doesn't like you for you, and it's way easier said than done. But I don't want to have to try to be 10 different people for,
it's exhausting.
20 different people, I want to be myself, but it is when you're younger. So like, just for the podcast, I'm 39 years old, when I was younger, if people were doing something, I was going to do it too. It didn't matter if I liked it or not. I just wanted to be a part of. Yeah. And the older I get, the more I'm like, no, I don't, that's not, and it can be something, it can be something simple like, hey, do you want to go disc golfing? I'm like, I don't like disc golfing, So like, maybe I'll go out with you and hang out, but I'm not going to play disc golf, like I'll walk around with you, and if I like you as a person, but, I would do that all the time. I would just do whatever people wanted to do to be a part of. Yeah. And that's the worst thing you can do. And again, it's a lot easier said than done, but I guess like, as we're talking about this on this podcast and this journey of self-fulfillment kind of thing, I hope maybe somebody will hear this and be like, you know what? Thank you for saying that, because I've been trying to, fit in with this group, and, nothing I ever did works. And, you inspired me to.
Might not be the right group for you then.
That's exactly it, man. Like, so my buddy that I was talking about earlier with you, he pointed out, he's like, people crave authenticity because it's so rare. Yeah. In this world, and it's true, man. Like, here's the thing. I may say something off the cuff, that some people, think is gross or, improper or whatever, fuck him. That's not, it's so once you start thinking like that, it's easy just to do whatever you like. Until then, you're walking on eggshells around certain people, and don't do that. Like,
are you saying just in general, or in comedy, or in both?
In life.
We forgot to mention that you also do stand-up comedy as well.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm very funny.
Very funny.
No, just in life, man. I mean, also in stand-up comedy, but authenticity should be the thing that you structure your life around. Honestly, I wasn't going to say that, but now that you mention it, a buddy of mine, Mike Lucas, do you know Mike?
I've heard the name, but I don't know him.
Very funny comedian out of Cedar Rapids. Is
he bald?
He is bald, yeah.
I know who that is. Yep. I don't know him well, but I know who he is.
Him and Donnie Townsend and a few other people.
Donnie T, it's his birthday today, even though this won't come out on his birthday, but yeah.
Oh, hey, happy birthday, Donnie.
I got to remember to message him later. Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
He just opened up for Mark Norman, and
I was so happy.
Did you watch that?
I was there.
Oh shit, man!
I had already had tickets, Anyway, because
How'd Donnie do?
oh, dude, he killed.
Crush?
He killed. Yeah. It was perfect for him.
Yeah, no, that's
Because Mark Norman's out there too.
yeah. Well, and Mark's very like Donnie's very like kind of high energy in his jokes. Like the way he delivers it, maybe not might not be high energy, but like he's talking about very crazy shit.
He's just off the wall.
Yeah. But people love that. That Donnie's a great example of just being your authentic self.
He's just him.
He does not give a shit, and that's what people want. That know. But
and it's not like he doesn't give a shit. Like he's out there being an asshole either. He just doesn't give a shit what people think.
No, yeah,
there's
like,
a difference, obviously.
Sometimes people think there's like this formula for comedy, and there's not. Honestly, if you try to go by a formula, you're probably going to end up like most of the other ones. That's where Donnie has succeeded. Is that he's off the cuff, man. He's very like unique in his approach to comedy. But yeah, I just think like in life, you should do what you like to do. You should approach life the way you like to do it. Obviously, there's rules to it. If you're in a job, you have to do the job to whatever standard that is. But
and you can't say certain things at work sometimes.
Yeah. You can't say pussy, butthole, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think so. When my buddy said that, like people crave authenticity, I was just like, all right, whatever. And it's a process too, but whatever I think, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm going to say. And I may tone it down for some audiences, like I'm not going to go around my grandma and say pussy butthole. But like
she doesn't care for that probably.
Yeah. No. Well, she's dead, but if she were alive, she would not care for that for sure.
Mine either. Yeah.
But then people get to see you for who you are, and then they get to make an actual decision, and they don't have to play a guessing game about like, is this who I'm going to actually experience if I have a one-on-one, or if we start dating, or if we're on a road trip or whatever. They know who you are, and then they can make an honest decision, and that's what you want. You don't want people to like, projection is for movies, it's not.
Yeah. It took me a while to figure out, even, I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from, figure out who the hell am I, like what type, like who am I as a person? What are my values? Because for the longest time, we were people we didn't necessarily want to be, or we'd adapt to wherever we were, whoever we were around. And once we decided to live a better lifestyle, we're like, well, who the hell am I?
Exactly. Well, yeah, dude, drugs cloud your sense of being.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm going to do whatever this person who has the drugs wants me to be, so that I can be in their good favor and get the drugs, right?
Yep.
Once you, and you can replace drugs with anything. With
it doesn't
food,
matter.
With relationships.
I see it a lot in relationships.
With jobs, like, don't do that, like, here's the thing. If I'm dating a girl and I've just told her everything she wants to hear, and then 2 years down the road, she sees the real me, and then she leaves me, I've just wasted 2 years of both of our lives.
Yep.
And also, I've not done myself any favors. I haven't been living in a way that honors me. Mm-hmm. And that's super important that you're
doing yourself a disservice.
That you take the time to figure out, like, I remember I had a girlfriend that liked to garden, and I was like, so I would garden, I was like, wait, do I actually like to garden, or am I just trying to appease her? And I do think that, if you love somebody enough, you can learn to like that stuff, but you should know that before you get, especially like into your 20s and 30s, as a kid, you're still learning about yourself, so whatever.
Yeah.
But as you get older,
you don't really know what you really like.
Yeah, exactly. And the person you're with probably doesn't know what they like either, right? No. But as you get older, you should, it's all about being. It's just Yeah, it's about being authentic. It's about honoring yourself and doing the things that you like to do. So that way, the joy, the sadness, the anger, the happiness is real. It's not this like counterfeited thing that, like say, for example, say your girlfriend is, what SJW or what, like, like you should edit this part out. But fucking, they're like, oh, yeah, trans rights and all that. Like, yeah, I believe in all that stuff. But if you don't and your girlfriend does, and you're like, yeah, gay rights, and then it comes out that, you're a homophobe, then you just fucked up your relationship. You just wasted a bunch of time for both of us, and it's like, as corny as it sounds, like when when they say like don't look for a relationship, and it'll come to you when you're ready. That's because you've taken time to figure out what it is you like and what it is you don't like, and then people see that and they're attracted to that, and then instead of being attracted to something that's fake, right? They're attracted to who you are, and it's going to go farther,
Yeah, that's why I, like, when it comes to dating and stuff like that, I'm very much in a place where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to try to, like, put up this false persona or this image, on when I was telling you about, like, the dating apps, for example.
Right.
I'm just, because I can't really be exactly who I want to be on there. Personally, I don't feel that way. And also, it's just like a crapshoot because of the, you kind of have to compete on those apps. Like if you want a woman that's attractive, that seems like an interesting person, that quote unquote has her shit together, she's getting bombarded with messages and, matches from all these guys, and you got to stand out from the crowd. And it's just like,
yeah,
I don't want to play that game.
Dating sites almost feel like a job sometimes,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I already have a job. I'm good.
yeah.
Like, I don't need another one.
And that takes you away from your authenticity. If you're like, that's why I never understood people who, like want to be in a relationship as part of their personality.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's a red flag to me.
Yeah. No, I had
it's scary.
Like, and she's never going to listen to this, and she wouldn't know if it was, but I had a friend when I was in the Navy who she would just jump from relationship to relationship. And I felt like back then I was like mad at her. I was like, dude, just like chill out,
Yeah. You don't need to be in a relationship all the time.
The funny thing was, and this speaks to the mental health part of it, but she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not even kidding. Like, she had long black hair. She had beautiful eyes, her, beautiful body, all that stuff. But she just didn't feel good about herself,
Yeah.
And that's where, she needed that validation from somebody else.
It's like a drug for her.
Exactly. Yeah. She was also a heroin addict. But
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, no, like people that like, and I agree, dating sites suck, but like, have you ever been like in a whatever scenario, bar, like maybe a show, something, and you just see somebody enjoying life,
Mm-hmm.
That shit is so attractive.
Yeah.
And you can tell the people that are just like enjoying their life and not people that are like looking around and like waiting till somebody sees them to like,
interact,
smile or dance or whatever, like, I think that, that's part of what I mean is just like being you is attractive. That sounds, for people who don't feel attractive, that sounds crazy, but it's 100% true. Like, I don't care what you look like. If you are happy and confident and just doing things that you like to do, whether that's walking in nature or going to a show or, writing poetry and performing it, like that shit is attractive. And it has nothing to do with what other people think that you should be doing.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's gotten to the point with the podcast where it's like almost a little bit of both. Because I actually, people have came up to me and, or messaged me randomly and been like, I really like what you're doing with the podcast. Keep doing it. And it's extra motivation. And it doesn't feel like a job to me at all. It's just like, I like doing it. And
yeah, dude, it's
just a bonus that people are like engaged and enjoy listening to it. That's just a bonus. Like, cause I don't really, I like seeing the numbers go up and like,
sure,
it's cool. But I'm definitely not doing this to make money or for my numbers to go up. It'd be cool if I could do this for a living because it would be like not working,
right.
And just doing something that I'm passionate about because, you were talking earlier about, becoming a therapist, and I've thought about that too, but I have such a hard time with school, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, same.
Terrible relationship with school. It's just, it's not the way I learn. I don't know. I'm not a textbook kind of guy. That's just not my thing.
Right.
Some people are way better at that in that environment, in that structured environment. It's just not for me. That's not how I learn things. I'm a very hands-on person.
I'm the same way.
And I was actually talking to my psychiatrist the other day, and she's like, was it my psychiatrist or was it my therapist? I don't remember. I was talking.
You got them both on speed dial, though.
Got them both on speed dial, but I was talking to somebody the other day. No, actually, it was neither. It was my supervisor at work, my former supervisor. I just switched supervisors, and I was telling her about, possibly going back to school and, how much of a pain that would be. And she's like, well, what you're doing right now is helping people by just doing this podcast, and you're already doing that. So just keep doing that. I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think we all kind of have this idea that we need to be better than what we currently are.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're listening right now, that's not true.
No.
You are good just where you are. It's like, if it does, I can't remember her name, but there was a lady like, does it bring you joy? If it doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. But no, I
mean, I gotta do my dishes. That doesn't bring me joy, but when they're done, it does.
Yes, but
when it comes to like working, and
you can always pay somebody to do your dishes.
That's true.
No, but like as far as the podcasts are great, to what we're talking about, podcasts are a great indicator that you can be yourself and people will eat that up. Like you put it out there, nobody has to listen to it.
Nope.
But the people that do, they do it because they gain something from it. And I truly believe this. I like to think that you're not doing it to like put forth some like, oh, this, look at how great I am, like
Nah.
You're doing it because you like it, obviously, like, and I think the whole concept of the modern day overthinker is that we want to live our best lives. Right.
Yeah.
And overthinking in and of itself, maybe not a great thing, but what it says to me is that you care, and caring, authenticity, being your true self is, it's just awesome, man. I mean, it shows people that you have been given this opportunity to be alive, be with these other people, and that you want to make it the best you can.
Yeah, and I've gotten the opportunity to meet so many cool people, especially with being in recovery. I've met a lot of cool people through recovery. Obviously, that's how we know each other.
Yep.
But comedy, man, like that's like the group of people and like the
I'm glad you're.
Like
I just want to interject. I'm glad that you're doing it because I remember we talked about this like 4 years ago.
yeah.
And you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then
Yeah.
And it takes a while to kind of get up the courage and the nerve to do it. But you're good at it, you have fun with it, and that's important, and it's like, it's another outlet that you can use.
It's a great outlet, man, dude.
So
it's
good,
not
dude.
one I didn't even know I needed until I started doing it, and then I've just met so many cool people like that. And it opened up, and it actually re-triggered the podcast and gave me more inspiration to the podcast. I was like, because a lot of the comedians I know are pretty messed up, and and we can relate to that, and they also like to talk and like to share their stories, and some of them share it on stage, and I think the first comedian I had on was Zach, and now Zach has a podcast. Now Zach has a podcast.
Yeah,
so,
I just kind of met that dude.
Yeah, you got to know him a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, he had said something that made me think, but like, yeah, dude, comedy is awesome. It's one of those things. It's kind of like how I feel about massage, is that you get to do something that you love and it benefits other people too.
Exactly. Yeah. Because when you get those laughs, man, you're just like, yes, because it makes you feel good, and then you're like, you're making other people feel good. It's just full circle.
Especially, just to bring it back, if you're talking about your life, then you're being true to yourself, and then when people laugh, you're like, oh shit, other people have lived this too. They relate to what I'm saying.
Exactly.
And they're gaining something from this, and comedy's harder, man. Like, I've been doing comedy for off and on for 10 years, and I literally just feel like within the last year or two, I have gotten to a place where I feel good about what I'm putting out there, and that, when I always used to like second guess myself, but like, I feel like now
the less you do that, personally, the less I second guess what I'm going to say, the better I do every time.
Oh, absolutely. But, like, this journey of authenticity for me is literally within the last like 3 or 4 years, and it wasn't like, my buddy was like, hey, people like authentic people, and I was like, okay, dope, I'm doing that. And then I
want people to like me, so I want to be authentic now.
I was like, oh yeah, no, that you're right. But then I would still like, just for example, I'd make the same corny jokes that I know people are gonna like, but it's not. I'm not talking about me, but I love when a comedian is just like, yeah, you were saying that, comedians have fucked up lives, right? And we use comedy almost as a form of therapy. And I love when I watch somebody grow. Like, Julian is a great example of that, man. Like, that kid, he's been doing comedy for a long time. And, I think he struggled to come into his own, but he's starting to do that, and it's super cool because he's still a young kid, Yeah, he's not a kid, but he's still a young man, and he's got a long way to go.
He's only what, 24, 23?
Yeah, 23 or 24.
Yeah.
He started doing comedy right after I got back into comedy after my heroin addiction, and he was like 15 or 16 years old. But it's cool to just watch him like become who he is, and you can tell that he's not influenced by what other people.
He doesn't give a shit.
No, he really doesn't. And I used to think it was a self-awareness issue, but I just think he likes what he likes.
Yeah,
and he's gonna do what, and that's beautiful to me, because then people flock to that because they know that, like, they don't have to worry about whether you're lying to them. If you ask them a question, you're gonna get an answer. And that answer is the truth. Whereas some of these other people, especially like, business people, you ask them a question and in their minds, they're flipping through, like, how do I flip this so that I come out in the best light? And
so I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Julian will tell you straight up if he doesn't know something.
Yeah. In one sense, he does, we all care about what people think about us, right? Like,
oh yeah. At the end
this idea of authenticity doesn't mean that you're going to just suddenly stop.
You can't do it 100%.
But, it's important to just to care less. Yeah, exactly. Just to think, like, I wake up and I think about a koala in a duck suit, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell a joke about that, and I love it, and I don't care what anybody else thinks about it, By the way, I would never do that. I talk about my real life, but But, it's that kind of thing that, like, I'm not going to worry about, like, oh, is this going to make me look stupid? Or, the thing I hate the most is people who just need that validation, and they're willing to lie their way through it, It's not a good look.
Trust me, I like the validation, but not get to do.
I think a lot of us have done that, though, like, God, for a while, I would say anything to get a girl to do a sex on me. But yeah, no, it is gross. I mean, it's super gross, but that's part, and that's life, man. That's the exploration that we're going through, is just to be like, how can I, have friends and lovers and colleagues that truly respect me without having to be somebody I'm not.
I think people have really noticed that with me at like my 9-to-5 job. I obviously have to watch what I say because I'm in a professional environment. Sure. I can't say everything I want to say, but for the most part, people know me. They're like, yeah, if Colin says something, it's gonna be. He's not gonna sugarcoat it. He's just gonna say what he's gonna say. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be blunt about it, and people respect that. And I also use comedy at work too, because like I work in customer service, man.
Yeah, you deal with the public, right?
We're dealing with a lot of. We deal with angry people. We deal with not everyone's angry, but it could be a stressful job. So sure, that comic relief is nice. So I'll throw we use Teams chats, and I'll throw a funny GIF out there every once in a while, or like try to bring.
Because you're a real person. Like, that's what I would do in my regular everyday life. So why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah. People like almost expect me to tell it. Like the one thing,
colleagues know that you do comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I don't like, and that is Colin, tell a joke.
Oh yeah. No.
It doesn't work that way.
I always tell people the worst street joke that I could think of. Like, your mama's so fat that she sat in 1 inch of water and it overflowed, or whatever,
something like that.
And then they're
best.
You're not very good at comedy. I'm like, come to the show, find out, dude.
Yeah, this is not the right setting.
Yeah,
Hannibal Buress breaks that down so perfectly. When he talks about it, he's like, I'm not gonna just tell a joke. It's like, because
he's like, there's context.
There's a mic. There's lights. Right. This is not the proper setting. He's like, because I
actually, and I know this is kind of off topic, I guess, but I did a show one time, and these guys came up to them, and they're like, how do you remember all that stuff? And I was like, what do you do for work? And they're like, oh, we're lawyers. And I was like, how do you remember what statutes or what? And they're like, they like got real serious all of a sudden. They're like, well, that's different. I was like, no, it's not. Like, it's the exact same thing. Like, you experience something, you do something enough, and then you get used to it, like.
Yeah.
But that's cool, man. I'm glad that people know you're a comedian, because that's fun, man. Or I guess, I mean, maybe not all the time.
Not all the time. Well, because there's this other guy at work who's really funny, and he was the joke guy, and he still is the joke guy. He'll normally just like Google a joke.
He steals all. Yeah, I was gonna say he steals all that shit, dude.
Yeah,
because he wants people to like him.
But he doesn't lie about it. He doesn't lie about it.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, he doesn't lie about it. He's like, I totally just Googled this joke, or I saw it on TikTok or something.
Right.
But he was the joke guy. Then now they're like, Colin, tell a joke. I'm like, my excuse now is, or usually has been, it's like, the jokes I have, I cannot tell you guys at work.
Yeah.
Like, I can't talk about like snorting pixie sticks when I was a kid. And, like, I can't tell you guys that joke. Like, you're gonna have to come to a show, or I've sent a couple people.
You could tell that ghosting joke that I really like.
Yeah, the ghosting joke.
That's a great joke.
Yeah,
dude.
It's a seasonal joke though.
I guess so. Yeah, you're right.
Seasonal joke. I'll bring it back in the fall.
I have a seasonal joke, but I use it all year round. Whenever I'm doing like a show where nobody's seeing my stuff, it's a New Year's resolution joke.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like sometimes it's like
how's you guys' New Year's resolution going?
Yeah. But like I just did it. And I was like, fuck, man, it's almost time for a new one. But it's almost like you can double down. Like, oh, you guys are real pieces of shit. You don't even want to be better at all.
Yeah,
but,
when nobody responds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I just think like. It's just easier to live life if you don't have to worry about what everybody else is thinking about you all the time.
Oh, yeah. It's exhausting.
It's exactly, dude. It's fucking stupid. But I mean, and I think
it's easy to fall into that trap.
It's so easy, dude.
Especially
with like dating, because you're like, God, she's so hot, and I want, her to.
I would do anything for her attention.
Mouth,
yeah.
But I think the older you get, the more you realize that that's just, in the long run, it's just going to be a waste of time,
Yeah.
I used to be cool with like one night stands, and then I just realized that I don't really, like, I can't be with somebody on that level unless I actually like them,
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really weird. Like, it doesn't happen a lot because I look like what I look like, but every once in a while somebody's like, hey, do you want to hook up? And I'm like, no, and it sucks because
empty.
Well, it's just like, yeah, I just think it's a waste of time because if we're not going to do anything past that, then, I just don't get excited about like doing something intimate like that with somebody that I know is not going to like truly want to reciprocate,
Yeah.
But that, I guess part of what we're talking about is that, all of this stuff takes a while to kind of realize about yourself. Like, a
lot of awareness.
Some people are good with one night stands or whatever,
Yeah, some people can just like.
They could turn that part off, I can't,
Me either.
So, and I think, I guess, going forward, you just have to be truthful with yourself, like, is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that I enjoy doing? Is this something that's going to honor my lifestyle? And that can be hard because I think, a lot of us, even, not like specifically people pleasers, we don't want to disturb the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's just, it's a process, man. It's a fucking process. Like comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a while to figure out what you're good at, what you like, what you suck at,
So you've, like I said, you came back and forth with comedy and, done your sabbaticals here and there.
I did. Yeah.
So what usually brought you back?
Oh, man,
It's been different every time, or?
I wish that you weren't a comedian so I could really like, poetically talk about this, but there's like, for anybody listening, I've had sex before so many times. Super cool.
Super neat.
Really enjoy it. Thank you, ladies. But there's nothing like connecting with an audience and like have them laughing so hard that they're like, doubled over in their chairs.
Yeah.
At a joke that you wrote, that you took time to write and to practice and, to deliver on stage. I just don't, like it's the closest thing to drugs I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that that I like
and
doing.
It's authentic.
And it's authentic, I mean, and that's like, I really hate, I think I'm going to end up saying this twice because I can't remember if I did or not, but Mike Lucas just said, he told me once, he's like, write the jokes that you like. Don't write the jokes that you think other people will like, So to tie that in with the authenticity.
Does it make you laugh?
Does it make you laugh? Do you? Yeah, exactly. And I can honestly say that all the jokes that I tell make me giggle.
Chuckle.
And I talk about my heroin addiction. I talk about, struggles with dating and my love of true crime. I talk about how a buddy of mine is a real idiot because he said he wouldn't suck a dick for $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
Which is real stupid. If
Yeah.
you've never sucked a dick,
In this economy.
you don't deserve $1 million, and somebody's offering it to you, dude. You better suck that dick. But yeah, no, dude. Like comedy is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Bar none.
Like, how did you get into it too? Because like you said, you've been at it for a while. What was your? Did someone encourage you? Or
dude, it's like I feel a lot of people have the same story.
Yeah.
Like everybody I would hang out with, they're like, "Dude, you're so funny,"
Yeah.
And I just had this like false idea in my head that like, yeah, I'd be a good stand-up comedian because I make my buddies laugh when we're drunk,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But I remember the very first time that I thought that I should do stand-up, I was in Chicago with one of my best friends, and you've been to Chicago before, right?
To do comedy?
No, just like
in general, yeah.
Just
my brother lives there, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember like we were walking around and the fucking pigeons they're real aggressive, dude. And I was like, oh man, in my head I was like, oh, it'd be really funny if I was able to freeze time and I could snap the head off of this pigeon and then restart time, like while I'm a block away, just watch people go crazy. Yeah, that's what I thought was funny 12 years ago. But I tried to tell like an iteration of that joke on stage and it fucking bombed. But then here's the thing, like my whole life, if I wasn't good at something right away, I just quit. Like I didn't want to,
Yeah.
And for some reason, man, comedy, like I was like, nope, I'm gonna fucking get this.
Yep.
And
that's how I feel too. Because my first performance was not great.
But my buddy Johnny Jones, he did. I was probably about 6 months to a year in, and this was the first time I met him. I didn't know him before this, but he did a set at an open mic, and just like crush, like like a Sam Talent type crush. I mean, like people like
I've never seen Sam Talent, but everyone.
I figured you have. Yeah, Sam Talent is
fairly highly
is the best working comic today. If you're listening to this, go check him out. But yeah, most of us, that's not what happens.
It's not the case. No.
We're like, well, the thing is, until you've done it for a long time, you don't know how a joke works.
You don't know what works, and you don't know what your style really is.
It's like saying like, oh, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to write a Stephen King-esque novel my very first time doing it,
Yeah.
It's not realistic. But yeah, dude, I just like...
Not everyone's Amber Jones or Amber Phillips.
She is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, I fell in love, dude. I was like... And I wanted that validation. But, when I first started, I was in my addiction. And
was it a mic in Chicago, though, that you did it at? Or was that just where you thought of that pigeon joke?
That's just where I thought of it. Do you know Bobby Ray Bunch?
Yeah. I know him. I don't know him that well, but...
He's a comedian.
Musician, comedian, realtor. Yeah.
He does it all, man.
He does a lot of things.
I love Bobby.
Yeah.
But he hosted the first... it was at the Establishment Theater back when that was a thing. So, do you know where that is? It's right next to the QC Coffee Pancake House.
Yeah.
It was an old theater, but yeah, dude. So I love this story. So I was like, all right, I've got this story and I've got a story about how it's not gay to touch another man's butt if you're in the confines of a sport, right? But so the thing about my early life and a lot of people who are doing comedy when they first start out, you don't really understand punchlines. You just think, oh, this is a funny concept and I'm going to talk about this and everybody's going to love it. Yeah. And it doesn't work that way.
No.
But yeah, so I had those two concepts. I went up. I tried to tell both of them. Neither one of them worked at all. And I sheepishly got off stage. But I had brought a romance novel. And my idea of comedy was that if those two jokes didn't go well, I was going to read like an excerpt from this romance novel. And I walked off the stage and Bobby came back up and kind of like made fun of me a little bit. And he's like,
yeah.
he saw the book on the stool. He's like, "Do you want your book back?" And so I had to walk back up there after I'd fucking bombed. Yeah, dude. It was just like, yeah, dude. So I fell in love right away, dude. Even though I sucked, I think I just wanted to prove that I could do it.
Yeah. So many people told me, like, it was good that I had the expectation that I didn't have high expectations.
That's good. Yeah.
Because I talked to so many people that had done it. They're like, don't expect to just go up there and crush. Like, if you don't do well, it's fine. Like,
right. Yeah, that's good. Well, the shittiest part about it was I was like, oh, nobody's really going to be that good. We're all just from the Quad Cities. And then Chris Schlichting showed up last and fucking destroyed. I mean, and it was a bit like the Establishment Theater. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's like a walk down kind of theater. It's huge.
Okay. Is it even open anymore?
No, I don't. Well, no, it is. It's not open as that. It's some sort of theater still, but it used to be the home of Comedy Sports. And so Comedy Sports would do like a monthly...
Comedy Sports moved to Spotlight Theater, didn't they? That's what I heard,
so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my first time bombing at comedy, there was like 140 people in the audience.
Oh, wow.
It was horrible. But I was just like, I'm not gonna let this be my legacy.
Was this a weekend mic?
Yeah, dude, Saturday.
Ooh, I'm looking forward.
Like Saturday after their show, they had a show, and then they're like, "We're gonna have an open mic," and so most of the people just stayed. And then,
okay,
a lot of the comedy, like, junkies and stuff, like Mike Steele, my friend Jasmine.
Love that guy.
They were all there just to watch, and I think Mike probably performed, but there was a bunch of people who loved comedy who were there, and I just I remember being able to see people's faces, and they just had this dumbfounded look, and I was like, I can't let this be the end,
Yeah, I can't go out on this.
And now, I'm probably one of the best comedians that's ever lived. So.
You gotta have that mentality.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about being authentic, so
yeah. If I'm being honest. So before we wrap up here, I wanted to touch on, because we didn't get a chance to touch on it, and I brought it up before we started recording, was how PTSD has impacted your life.
Oh yeah,
and wanted to touch on that because I know there's other people listening or potential listeners that could relate to that, and it's an important topic just because it's a lot of people that deal with it, and I've never really got to hear your experience with it. I mean, obviously being a veteran, you've had to see a lot of things that a lot of other people hopefully never see, and we obviously don't have to get too far deep into it, but I just wanted to touch on that before we wrapped up.
Yeah, I forgot we were talking about that. I think with PTSD, it sheds a lot of doubt, onto who you are and stuff. I hate that word, stuff. Anyways, it's like I was always like a happy kid, and then I remember just being overcome with fear all the time. Partially when you're in a war zone, you have to worry about dying,
Yeah.
Like, obviously you can die here, but it's less likely. It's not like somebody is like looking to kill you most of the time, right?
Exactly.
And then in Afghanistan, people were trying to kill us, And so I just remember for like a year after I got home, because we were made aware that like IEDs are usually big things, but they can make them out of anything. They'll put them in anything that they can. And so I remember just like if I was driving down the street and there was like a plastic bag or a Pepsi can or
back
like
home,
huh?
When you were back
home, yeah. A fucking KFC box or something. Like my mind would instantly go to that's an IED, and if I hit it, then I'm gonna die, and so I just for probably
created like a paranoia.
Yeah, super bad paranoia. I was constantly worried that I was gonna die. And that's the crazy thing about PTSD is that like it makes sense to be scared of that when you're in the situation.
In
right?
the situation, of course.
It doesn't make as much sense when you're out of the situation, but your brain, because we want survival, right?
Yeah.
It keeps you there. And I don't think, like I know that other people have had it a lot worse, I luckily didn't have anybody. I had a friend of mine who so I was in the Navy, he was in the Army, he was on the base that I was at, and he ended up being killed in a firefight about 3 months after I left. And so like that coupled with, this idea that, even though I'm in a safe space, my brain can't turn that off right now, It was hard for a few years, and I think, you being in recovery, you like understand this concept that like you just want to be somebody else, you just want to feel something different than whatever you feel. So that was a lot of my addiction, is that I just didn't want to feel helpless, and that, like my life was going to get cut short at any moment. When I signed up for the Navy, I didn't sign up thinking that I was going to go to Afghanistan, but they offered, they were like, we needed a spot filled in this joint command that I ended up going to, and I volunteered because my cousin was in Iraq, and I wanted to, I wanted to feel like I was helping, kind of thing. And, he has really, really bad PTSD now. He did 3 tours, and,
Jeez.
And so
And you did
there's this
one?
I did one 6 month. He did 2 years and I think a 6 month,
Yeah.
And so not only do I have to worry about my life, I have to worry about the guilt of not being the one that died, of not being
why
the
me kind of thing.
why me, not being the one that had the really bad PTSD, and thinking like I had this, like, dying again, I like just had this imposter syndrome that even though I'd gone to war and I'd done my, duty as an American citizen, that it just wasn't good enough, but also that I, was plagued with this horrible sense that, everything I did was wrong, and that, I was never gonna like recover from feeling like that, that survivor's guilt, the imposter syndrome, all that, is just, it was rough, man. And, I started doing therapy a few years ago, and, we had to like call it quits, I guess, but, it's something that I want to get back into, but I think for the most part, the PTSD is a lot better, but it still comes back. I actually have, my PTSD is kind of transferred to other stuff, which would take forever to talk about, but fear is just at the heart of all of it, and it could be anything, but
fear is any doubt as well, or
yeah, absolutely. That like, I remember thinking like, I was in a combat zone, I'd been shot at, but, the fact that I never killed anybody was like, people were going to think I was a fake or imposter for calling myself a combat veteran,
because
because I never killed or shot at anybody,
which is kind of a good thing.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm glad I never killed anybody, to be honest.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like just that, like you second guess everything you do, right? And so not only do you have this horrible trauma, but that your trauma isn't valid, and
it's like, why do I feel this way? I didn't have it nearly as bad as this person.
Right. Yeah, like I didn't have a wife at home with 2 kids who now has to raise her kids by herself, That was
situation for a lot of people.
15 years ago, and so well, my buddy, he
had a wife and kids at home.
Had a wife and 2 kids, 2 daughters, and they're like, they're teenagers, and they never got to me there. This used to like keep me up at night. Like I would cry because, it was him and not me, know? And, not that I ever wanted to die, but I just thought like, a better man was taken from this world.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And, it's good to me now, man. Like seriously, as we're talking, I just, I haven't explored those feelings in a while, but, it is what it is. And, I think it's less important to think about how things could be different and just accept how things are.
Oh yeah.
And that, I'm here for a reason. And, I'm not really a big God person, but, I mean, whatever was supposed to happen happened. And, how can I, like, and I feel like this is kind of corny, but like, how can I make my friend proud, and how can I, like honor him as I go about my life now? And, I think overall, like I've done a good job. I don't, I fucked up a lot in the past, but I feel like I'm on the right path. The people in my life love me. I don't cause too much strife and trouble for them. And, that's, so it's just a weird road to be on, man. Like, it's hard to even articulate like kind of what I'm feeling, but, PTSD will fucking strip you of your autonomy and your soul if you let it. And you should do whatever you can to not let that happen, whether that's therapy, whether that's the gym,
just talking to somebody else,
whether it's comedy, whether it's, two guys talking on a podcast, fuck, dude, maybe nobody listens to this and I don't care. It doesn't matter. The fact that,
we're having
this is a very real, authentic, very, gritty kind of talk, and that's important to me, like that, it means a lot just to, have a medium or an avenue to talk about this stuff. And then if somebody takes something from it, great,
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you're listening to this right now, don't get PTSD, dude. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Sucks a lot. And also, if you do get PTSD, don't do heroin about it.
Yeah, don't do drugs about it.
Do meth.
Yeah, do meth.
No, I'm just kidding. Don't listen. This is not medical advice.
Yeah, it's not medical advice.
You listen to Dan Bush's episode.
Not medical advice.
Take this as medical advice.
I love how he threw in that disclaimer.
Yeah.
He's the only person I've ever had on the podcast where he's like, which I understand why, where he's like, can you send me it so I can listen to it before you release it? And I was like,
oh, really?
Because he's like, I want to make sure I didn't say anything stupid. I'm like, all right.
So you guys were talking about ketamine, and it's really funny not funny. 2 years ago, I was in one of the worst slumps I'd ever been in. And it's always funny how they happen after you like get clean and your life is more on track. But I called because I was like, it was right after. So what happened with my therapist, who I fucking adore, she was the best. Her position got cut, and she was like, I'm going to take a few months off to try to figure out what I want to do next.
Yeah.
And so I had nobody to talk to, like that anyways.
Yeah,
and,
she had a good relationship with
well,
him.
yeah, like you can't dump your fucking problem. Like I can't be like, hey, Colin, let's talk for an hour about everything that's gone fucking sour in my life, like that's not your job, you're not equipped for that. So anyways, I was super sad, and I called, like I'd heard about, ketamine being
a newer form of therapy, yeah.
Right. And so so I talked to the lady, this fucking sweetheart of a lady. She's like, yeah, so we don't do any insurance. It's
so expensive.
I can't remember. It was like $2,600 for 6 treatments. And as soon as she said that, I was like, thank you. like I appreciate your time, but there's no way I can afford that. And she stopped me and she's like, listen, I know it's expensive. if you're going to do something drastic, call us back and we will give you a treatment for free. And that, like, I think like I got off the phone and I broke down, man, because it's like, I mean, this is for a different day with a different person, but the fucking healthcare system in this country is fucking garbage.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, man,
have to deal with it all the time.
Yeah. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking die before anything ever gets better. And that wasn't the case. It did get better, and but yeah, that sucked my penis in the bad way.
In a bad way. So. Yeah. I when you were talking about the why me thing, and I didn't really think that, like when our buddy Brad passed away.
Yeah, that fucking sucked too.
That was brutal. And he was on the podcast.
I saw that. I haven't listened to it yet.
I can't listen to it. I
don't blame you.
I want to, kind of. Part of me wants to, and part of me is like, oh, I don't know if you want to do that.
Again, just like, like, don't force it. Like,
no.
At some point you may think, all right, I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
It doesn't do any of us any good.
Well, it's cool to hear his voice and him talk about it. Dude, he was so excited, man. He was so excited to be on the podcast, dude. He brought it up to me multiple times. Like, he's like, dude, I want to be on. I want to talk about that. And well,
what did you guys talk about?
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Is we talked about veteran suicide.
Yeah.
And but what I didn't find out till after he passed, I was talking to Shane, and Shane's like, he's like, yeah, Brad spoke really highly of you. He really liked you, and he listened to every single episode of your podcast. He listened to your podcast more than he listened to mine. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And
he was such a big supporter of all of us, dude.
Yeah, he was just a big supporter of everybody. And if I ever get to a point, which I haven't got to a point where I'm like, this podcast sucks, nobody's listened to it, Brad would have wanted me to keep doing it for sure. Like, no doubt in my mind.
Yep.
And that's actually because I was supposed to record an episode that day, the day he passed, and I didn't record that day, obviously, because the person I was having on actually was a friend of his as well. So we were both like, "Yeah, we're not doing that."
Yeah.
But I was right back to it the next week recording because I was like, I can't break this momentum, otherwise I'll fall off and stop recording the podcast. And I know that's not what he wanted. That's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was actually like impressed and surprised when Stevie still did the
mic. That was.
I was supposed to have my roast the next day, but I just
I
couldn't do it. Dude.
I remember. Yeah, I'm glad Stevie did it. It was a very emotional night, but it was very needed, and I think
it was cathartic for sure.
Yeah, it was very cathartic, and having Christian headline, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that fucking poor kid, dude.
Yeah, him and his brother, man.
Yeah.
The ripple effect that suicide causes, man, it's...
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we could fucking probably go another hour. I don't, I've never thought that you should, and this may sound selfish or weird, but you shouldn't not do what you want to do because of other people, and that includes suicide. But I just don't understand how somebody could do it.
Yeah, I've been in the place where I've wanted
a grandson.
I've been in a place where I didn't want to live anymore, but I was in a gray area where it's like I don't want to do it, but I don't want to be here at the same time.
Worst, dude.
Yeah, it's the worst.
That's so horrible because you're like, nothing I'm going to do is going to make me feel better.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, and I ended up going to the ER because I was like, I'm suicidal, but I don't have a plan. I don't actually want to do anything. I mean, I just.
Did you spend the weekend or?
No. They threw me a happy pill and sent me on my way.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because I didn't have a plan. I was like, well, if you knew me, you know I don't plan anything. So, yeah, it's just like, they gave me a nice dose of Ativan, and me and my parents went and got ice cream, and that was it. You know, it was weird, man. It goes back to the system and the healthcare system. I honestly think the healthcare system is not. It shouldn't be called the healthcare system. It should be called the health revenue system or like something of that sort, because that's all it is anymore.
Yep.
And in the United States, it's like it's so backwards and so messed up, and I know too much about it too because I work in it. I'm just a middleman, so I don't feel bad about my job.
Right.
I help people enroll in their benefits and, you know, choose their benefits with their companies. So I don't like sell insurance, and I'm not like denying claims and stuff like that. If anything, I'm trying to find people help so they can pay for their medical expenses. And it's rough, man. It's so.
There's all sorts of stories about people killing themselves
over medical debt.
They have cancer and they're like, well, I'm going to die anyways, and I can't. I don't want to leave my kids with all this debt. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Like, there's got to be a better way.
There is. It's just
there is, but you know, yeah, capitalism.
Yeah. We should probably try to end this on a positive note.
Yeah, no, we should. You know, I think the best I've felt in my life as myself has been since I thought that whatever happens in my life, I'm going to do whatever I think is good and necessary, and you know, I'm not going to worry about whatever I'm doing and how it affects other people or how they think about me. You know, I remember a comedian once said that my comedy was like I presented my comedy, or I had the delivery of like steamed broccoli or something, and it ripped my heart out, you know. And I remember, you know, I've had people talk about how my eyes are too close together and I'm ugly, and you know, and those things may be true to them, and that's fine, you know. I will say that the broccoli fucking fuck you, James Doyle, if you're listening to this. I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what that. I don't even understand that comparison.
No, I actually like James a lot. But
the broccoli thing, I don't understand that.
What's that?
What? I don't understand.
Oh, it's just like very bland, you know, very like.
Oh, like the vegetable, like
yeah.
I thought you were talking about a person, like you were being compared to.
No, he was saying that I was very like, basically saying that I wasn't good. But and yeah, this isn't about him. I love him. He's actually a really good dude. He meant well.
He's just,
he was just being a comedian, you know.
Yeah, it's just giving shit.
But you know, that kind of motivated me to just like be, you know, like if I'm gonna bomb, it's not gonna be because I tried to make somebody else happy and failed. It's gonna be because I wanted to do my own thing and failed. And
or you could just be off. Sometimes I'm just off.
Well, yeah, but you know, the point is that I'm not like, you know, around 4 years ago. I just started, you know, and it's not perfect. I don't
the sake of us going off topic.
But my idea
I
is
also
that
want to remind you that
try to
if you leave a review on this podcast, it really helps me out and gets it boosted to other people so they can find out about the podcast. So if you like it,
I guess, you know,
yeah. Or if you don't like it,
and
I'd prefer if you
since
did
I've
like it,
started
you
doing
leave a
that,
review. If you don't like it,
my
you
life
can
has
keep that
gotten
to
a
yourself.
lot
But
easier. You know, there's
or just
obviously
let me
still
know
trials and
in private.
tribulations, you know.
Either
But
way,
it doesn't have
reviews
to do
help a
with,
lot.
like,
I
me
just want to
feeling
emphasize that,
some
and I
sort of way
appreciate
about who
everyone
I
for
am,
listening.
You know, I'm very happy with who I am. And if I'm not, then I just change it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I've gained some weight. I don't want to be like that, so I'm just going to change it. I'm not going to mope it. I'm not going to blame somebody else. I'm not going to, you know, be sad about it or anything. You just change it, you know?
You started going back to the gym, didn't you?
Hell yeah, dude. I've been lifting hella weights.
Dude, that's what's up. I
Also,
never
you,
thought...
you look very beefy, my dude.
Dude, I've been getting beefy. Yeah.
You are, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to replace me as the beefcake.
Yeah. I never thought I'd be a gym guy, man. It's another outlet for me. It's
Dude,
great.
it feels so good, dude.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's just, I think me and you and a lot of people are just on a journey to be the best us we could be, whatever that means,
Yeah.
like that's not one thing. It's just, I'm trying to be better than I was the day before,
Exactly. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah. I mean, you can just go through life just fucking
Coasting.
But why?
It doesn't, it's not fulfilling to me.
Like, bro, fucking read that book, watch that scary movie, fucking write a fucking novel, dude. Do whatever the fuck you want to do if it makes you happy,
Yeah.
If, if your girlfriend is like, hey, you should write a novel, tell her to kick rocks. You don't write novels for no bitches.
Yeah.
But, man, this has been a lot of fun, dude. Like, seriously, like, I love this shit, man. I love just, like, waxing philosophical with people about life because it's important. What else is there? You can only watch so many fucking TikTok videos before.
Oh, my God, and I've watched a lot.
Dude,
What's your feed looking like?
Oh, God, mostly comedy, I guess.
Yeah, I get a lot of comedy.
Comedy and cooking seems to be, and then the occasional pet, which is cool.
Yeah.
But, dude, like I'm very so we didn't talk about this, but I'm ADHD.
Okay.
And so I have a hard time, or I'm very like particular, I guess, about the way things happen. But like some people will have like notifications on their phone and they just don't check them, and that drives me crazy. But people send me TikTok videos all day long, and I rarely check them. And that also drives me crazy, but I don't want to watch all of your TikTok videos. I want to watch my own TikTok videos. You know? So.
I have people that send me, you send me them, you're one of many people who send me videos, and I'm just like, there's so many videos.
Oh, dude, I have like 60 in the queue right now. But, like, eventually I'll watch like a few of them, but yeah. Otherwise, like, as soon as I get like a Facebook text, email, I read it and I get it off my screen.
I must have been a part of a group message. I got like 10 notifications. Oh, yeah. It's part of I'm doing a show this weekend, and they just finally made the flyer. Good old Broken Saddle shows. Gotta love it.
Hell yeah.
But
what day are you doing?
The 19th.
Oh, okay. I'm doing.
I did the 3rd.
Yeah.
That's Pubali, I think. Mine, good old
Who's
Andy.
doing yours?
Andy McGraw.
Oh, okay.
Good old Andy McGraw.
Good old Andy McGraw.
But yeah, shout out Andy. He listens sometimes. I know some people feel some type of way about Andy sometimes, but whatever.
I don't really know.
You don't really know him?
No, I mean, and I don't really think. I mean, I've heard what other people have said about him. He's never done me wrong. I don't know.
Me either. Yeah.
As long as he's not a rapist or a sexual assaulter, I don't give a shit, dude.
No.
Like, live your life, brother.
Yeah, he's also like he's young, man.
Is he? He kind of came in hard. He was trying to like make a name for himself when he first got here, and like trying to roast people.
Yeah,
and I was like,
you gotta chill, man.
You don't roast me ever, dude. I'm Jake fucking McDowell, dude.
You don't know me. You don't know me like that.
No, he's cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, QC comedy beef is weird. I don't have.
It's so weird.
I don't have beef with anybody, dude. I don't give a shit.
I don't care at all.
You know,
my
I'm too
worst
good at
beef
comedy to fucking care what you think about me, dude.
And my beef is with me. I'm my worst. I'm the only person that's holding me back.
Right.
And I know that. And the more I know that, and the more I get through that, the better off I'm going to be.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you, dude. I love this, man.
The nice, wholesome living room setup, which is cool.
Yeah, I love it.